I want to give you the Russian side of the story, okay? So here's 1949 to 1980. You can see this, right? So this is what was the Soviet Union. And they just took over these countries after World War II. And I don't think it's a good thing. I wish we hadn't. We hadn't just sort of given up to the Soviet Union, but we did, and NATO did, and Western Europe did. And so this is Crimea right here. And Crimea, the Russians put their largest naval base that they had. The Soviet Union did, the Soviets did, right here in the tip of Crimea. And this is the key to everything. Because you want to be able to come through Turkey, like the Bosphorus and so on, like right through here, and come out into the Atlantic. I mean, this is everything for the Russians. This is like the key. People say that Crimea is the key to controlling that whole region of the world. And the Russians had that. And the Russians are saying, listen, y'all, you keep pulling these countries over here to the NATO side, and we're looking out for our geopolitical interests. Like you take them, so I'm just going to be the Russians for a second, right? These were part of the Soviet Empire. Then the Soviet Empire breaks down in 1989, and one by one, you keep like pulling them over into NATO.
確かに。
And like that's very destabilizing for us.
エストニアそうな
You
の
can't do that. And especially Crimea. And Crimea is what we're fighting over right now. So Crimea is part of the Ukraine, and it's separate, but it's part. And all these people around here, they speak Russian, and lots of people in Crimea speak Russian. And like the Russians are saying, you can't, Ukraine, we are not letting Ukraine go toward NATO. We are not letting Ukraine go to the United States. It's too unsettling. It's too dangerous for us. Like, we don't want to do that. We need the Ukraine as part of our orbit because we're looking out for ourselves. And I thought, well, my God, that's what the United States has done. That's what we did all through Latin America. If you go back to those women, these women were all the men in their communities, and they were I just imagine the worst possible things. All that happened to them because we didn't want to allow these countries to go toward a different orbit. We said, we're not going to let that happen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to allow the slaughter of millions and millions and millions of innocent people because we, the United States, don't want to allow these countries to go toward a different geopolitical orbit. And that's exactly what Putin and the Russians are saying about Crimea. You're not coming in here and you're not taking this. Like, this is us. They need to be aligned with us.
I have a few questions. First,
Russia today,
it's not the USSR. They don't have communism.
It's the Russian Federation.
They are trading with countries like Germany and a few others.
And us.
So why is it so necessary that they establish themselves in Ukraine and Crimea? If they're not trying to uphold communism versus capitalism, essentially.
Because we have a state, because first off, can you go back to this? We all have these nuclear missiles pointed at one another. They're still our stated enemy, right? And we're still their enemy, and they're still our enemy, and we are still fighting the Cold War, even though it's not cold, it's actually warm now. So we're still fighting it out. And the reason we're fighting it out is because everybody's battling for resources in the world. You want to have more resources for your people than somebody else has for their people. So I've been to the Ukraine, right? So Lori, this is my wife here. So she was invited over for a conference to talk about women in war who were fighting down in Crimea. And these women right here are soldiers in the Ukrainian military who had just come back from the battlefield down in Crimea. And she was moderating a panel for them, right? So I had the opportunity to really hear directly from them. And they want to kick the Russians out, right? So my idea is like not to support the Russians, but I want to understand them. To go to another slide. So these are all civilians who signed up, just like you all would sign up, because someone invaded us, and Mexico invaded us in the south, and we didn't have enough people in the military, and you all would just start signing up, and you put your fatigues on, and you got your boots, and you're ready to go, and you go get your guns, and if you don't have guns, you do because you're from Texas, and so you go and you go fight, and that's what they did, and these are all people who died, right? And there's memorials all over Kiev, and I'm like, oh shit, this is real for me, right? Like what Russia's doing is real for me. Next one. These are women who are making camouflage. They get all these netting, and they take different colored cloth and they cut it up into little pieces and they put the cloth because they're going to hang it over things, all the equipment because they didn't have it. Here's a shot of, next one. This is the main Maidan Square where the Russians, they set up a situation where they put snipers in all of these like different windows around and they killed innocent people who were out,
やば
you know, protesting, right?
ガ
So
チ
final thing, but this is a photo of Lori and I in St. Petersburg, Russia, with students. And this is a Russian professor, and we gave a talk about our work,
一番
right?
右
So like
沢や
I
ん
get
いくよ
them. They're just people, like everybody, right? So for me, it's like, whoa, Stephen, final thought. Like, what do you hear me saying right now?
I understand why Russia would now want to do this. And I do see the relations between what Russia's doing now and what U.S. has had in the past. Okay, so not that the U.S. in those certain situations weren't trying to establish power, but it was also about an ideology. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, which is
I'm
what
not
the Russians are saying.
But okay, but how is it an ideology in this circumstance? You said it was about the
経
power.
済的に落ちて
That's
く
the
から
same thing.
な
No. If you study, if you talk to the
競争力がない。
people in those women in Guatemala, that's only one example.
Okay, yeah.
For them, it's not. It's about power. It's not about.
というわけでいかがだったでしょうか。まあね、簡単にまとめると、アメリカでもね、グアテマラでこういうことをしていたし、やってる時代は違えどお互いの正義のために戦っていたという感じで、今回ロシアが騒いでいるのは、ウクライナまでもがアメリカ側につくと、おいおいそれ違う話じゃねえか、ふざけんなよ。
優しそうに聞こえても、これは犯罪者のセリフです。
っていう感じなんですかね。この動画を見るまでは世界から見たロシアっていう情報が多くて、ロシア側からのね視点があまりなかったので、だいぶね勉強になりました。この授業内でも両方ともね平等に見るようにしててね、だいぶ面白いものになったかなというふうに思います。またねこういったような世界事情をね取り扱って分かりやすく翻訳してね出していけたらなというふうに思います。というわけで今回の動画は以上です。この動画が少しでもね役に立ったよとか、もっと見たいよとか、僕のね動画作りのモチベーションなので高評価お願いします。そしてこのチャンネルではこういったような世界事情やアメリカ事情、英語のね勉強になる面白い動画をね翻訳して配信したりしています。そういった動画をね見逃したくないよとか、今ね1300人と小規模なんですけど、このチャンネルを応援してくれるよって人は今のうちにチャンネル登録お願いします。ということで今回も動画を見てくださりありがとうございました。また次回の動画で会いましょう。バイ。